Bye. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November Planning Commission Public Hearing and Public Meeting for Virgin, Utah. We're starting our meeting at 5:35. In attendance is Lee Ballard, Kent Peterson, and Darlene Pope. So we do have a quorum. And we've had our call to order, and I'm going to ask our veteran, Mr. Kent Peterson, in honor of Veterans Day, which was yesterday, to lead us in the pledge.
Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item is a review and approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the November minutes and the October public hearing, public meeting minutes? Weren't there three? Yep. There was two from September, but if you recall, we had to cancel our work meeting in October.
Oh, right.
So there's only one in October.
So there's three total correct minutes. September,
Public hearing, public meeting. September, work meeting, October, public hearing, public meeting.
okay. I'll move that we approve those three sets of minutes.
All right,
Second.
September and October.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, 3 ayes. All right, so they are approved. And, there is nobody currently in our audience for open forum. So we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh, the fly. Why are you hitting my phone? Speaking of phones, please remember to silence your phones so they don't disturb, our meeting. All right, so we'll move right on to any commissioner comments. And we'll start with Kent. Do you have any comments?
I'm not sure if I've missed any meetings, but I don't remember Mark being here until now officially, so welcome. Thank you. Pleasure being here, of course. Our new town manager.
And Lee, do you have any other comments?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and I just want to acknowledge the hard work of our committee for our town events. And from what I hear, the trunk retreat was a success. I did my best to try to attend those, but it just wasn't possible that day. I felt bad. So thank you to that. I also want to thank everybody who stepped up to run, no matter the outcome for office in this town. That's what we need. Okay. All right. Now, I would take a motion to close the public meeting and open the public hearing. Sorry, Ken.
I'll do that.
Okay, Ken.
Motion to close the public hearing, public meeting, and open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Items for comment. If you recall, for those who are listening, it was determined there was enough change to the open space ordinance that, most of the members of the commission thought it would be beneficial to have another public hearing. We have no letters on that, and there's no one, here to make public comment. So I agree to move on. Okay, and then we continued the hearing, from the October 14th conditional use permit. For Unplugged, we did receive the report. We will be discussing all of the concerns that were mentioned either in writing or through public comment at our last public hearing next week at our work meeting. So if you are interested to hear that discussion, you are more than welcome to attend that. Okay, and that's on next Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Are there any other comments on that? There's nothing in writing. Did you want to say something?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would you like me to address the one condition that was inadvertently omitted from the staff report?
Yes.
So it was in the previous staff report, then we revised the report to make it, strictly fit the ordinance requirements. And unfortunately, one of the conditions did not transfer to the new report, and that is remote metering of sound would be put in place and maintained by the owner or designated manager. So I just want to make clear that that condition is part of staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask, do you know if that's fairly easy to do? Is that, have you ever experienced that?
I have not, and, you know, this issue precedes me a bit, but my understanding is that that was a requirement of the developer, and I believe the developer agrees to that, so. The
Interesting.
mechanics of it, I
Okay,
can't, I'll have to defer.
right there.
I'm not familiar with that process.
Okay, thank you.
Last item for public comment, I don't believe we have anything, in comment about this, and that is a new ordinance, the grading ordinance. And I have a writer, Stigler? Stiglich. I always want to say that wrong. Stiglich is here. And I just arranged for him to be at our work meeting as well to answer any questions that we have about that. I know several commissioners have made comments that we will be addressing, okay? I also, that's the last item, and there's no communication, there's no one, and unfortunately, we have no one in our audience. I always love the public comment, even when it is, not the support, because it often makes what we're doing even better as we consider that perspective. And I want to make sure that everybody who expressed a concern about unplugged or any ordinance in a previous public hearing that we will be addressing next week, I want you to be assured that we've made a note of those and we will address them next week. And this is true of any ordinance. And this is why we have revisions of ordinances, because we want to make sure all perspectives are considered. And then anytime any resident has a concern about an ordinance that's been posted, I hope you feel comfortable enough to reach out to the author. For the grading ordinance, the author is Riker, but you could funnel those to me or to Crystal, and Crystal would send those questions to Riker. Okay, if it's the sensitive lands one, which I'm gonna give an update on, you could reach out to either Larry or Riker through Crystal. Okay, all right. If a phone call is, or a meeting is needed, with, I'm sure the authors, in many cases, we will consider that as well, okay? All right, so there's no comments. Riker, could you please, since this is the first time we did this, could you at least give us an overview of the grading ordinance?
You have to step up to the mic? or-
Yes, please.
Should that be should we close the hearing first?
Yeah, let's close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing, and we open the public meeting.
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
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 So just a brief overview of this ordinance. This grading ordinance is intended to, as it states here in the overview, establish standards for grading, excavation, and earthwork activities. Providing for permitting, engineering, and enforcement procedures, and promoting public health, safety, and welfare through responsible land disturbance regulation. The main intent of this ordinance is to prevent grading, that is intended for commercial projects or other projects of the like prior to receiving approval for such projects. It ties all grading in those instances to a permit. And that permit cannot be obtained until approval of the use has been obtained. In many cases, that may be a site plan or something of the like. There are certain exceptions in this ordinance as well that address specific uses like residential landscaping aren't intended to be prohibited by this ordinance, as well as agricultural and any type of grading that doesn't disturb the natural grade or affect the natural drainage of the property in question.
Thank you, Riker. And for the public who may be listening or who may watch this later on, if you would like to read that ordinance and you don't have access to the Utah Public Notice website, our town website, is it agendas and notices? If you just look for this date, 11/12, planning and zoning public hearing packet, you will see every ordinance that we discuss for public hearing, any item we discuss for public hearing will be in there. Thank you, Riker. Website?
I believe it is under, oh, it is under agenda. Used to be, no,
What's it called?
it's under agendas and
Agendas and minutes. I said notices, so I had a hand right. All right, thank you for that clarification. Okay, so we have two items up one item up for a vote and one item up for an update. I will call on Riker to help with that update as well. And the item for a vote is the open space, and this ordinance was passed by town council, but they charged us with creating a list of prohibited uses. And so I'm going to ask for a motion on an ordinance amending Title 16 of the municipal code to amend and renumber the chapter governing open space district. And I think we should add, and doesn't it include a list of prohibited uses? So let me read the actual plan.
It says, an ordinance amending Title 16 of the Virgin Municipal Code to amend and renumber the chapter.
The open space district. Okay, so that includes everything.
I so move.
Okay,
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
aye. And Riker, can I call you up again? So this is to give an update on the sensitive lands ordinance. We got a lot of good feedback from the public on our last public hearing, and we realized there still needed to be some work done on it. And one of the things was creating a map so people could visualize, and we have like a first draft of that map now. Is that correct, right?
That is correct, yes.
Crystal, do we have it put up on the screen?
So these, marks, this is only about slope, right?
Correct. This first map only shows the slope percentages as they're separated out in the ordinance currently.
Okay,
So this is prior to any changes to the text of the ordinance or the percentages for the slopes in the ordinance. The way the ordinance is currently written, it separates it out into these categories, and there's varying levels of development allowed in those different colors. The only area where development would be prohibited would be in the over 30% or the red of this map.
and then will there be maps for drainage and all that sort of thing?
So yeah, that's something we could do. We would want to identify the specific drainage areas. A lot of that could probably be pulled from FEMA maps because those identify some of those drainages.
Sure.
If there were specific drainage areas that needed to be called out, then we may want to address those more specifically. But
Is there any need to have a map for the mesas,
Cliff edges.
cliff edges?
Not necessarily, I mean, it depends on how we want that to be addressed. Typically, in most sensitive lands ordinances that I've seen in regards to mesas, there's just a distance requirement. And that's just on a case by case basis. It
Clear
would be,
definition of a mesa.
we would want to include that if it's not already included in the
Yes.
ordinance.
And the edge.
And yeah, and how that's defined, and so I believe the ordinance has some descriptors for that, it talks about. How tall the vertical cliff face has to be for it to be considered a mesa, and then the distance requirement from there. But I don't think there would be any need to identify that on a map.
Okay.
Is there, you say there's a current status for the development of the mesas?
In the ordinance, so there's, I believe, a requirement for ridge lines, and I don't know if it calls out mesa specifically. But it's something similar to that, where it has, it defines that steep drop off and distance requirement from that steep drop off.
So it has a setback requirement
Correct.
So,
From the edge of the
for,
drop off. Yeah,
and you know what the,
I don't recall off the top of my head.
I just wonder that I feel really strongly about one of the beautiful parts of our town and area are the mesas. And I hope that we have strong enough ordinances. If the people want this and so forth, that we have protections so that fines or protective restrictions that are significantly different than downtown, setback restrictions, that limit how much can be seen at certain, degrees and so forth.
And
We've all seen good mesa setback projects and we've seen bad ones. And not necessarily here, because we haven't had that pressure, but we can see it in other parts of the county. And I just hope that, everybody here feels, strongly about protecting those mesa vistas. And it's different from different places. If you're down in the river bottoms, then you're looking up, and it's very different than if you're like myself up on the hill on the north, looking across. And I just think that it would be an ordinance that should be really concerning, that we develop something that protects I think what we all feel is part of why we're here.
And part of our economic base.
Yeah, economic, definitely.
thank you, Reverend. That is the last one on our agenda. Is there any other item? Anything else I need to discuss? I am just moving, I'm gonna copy to our work folder, the sensitive lands, documents. I have the map in there already. I thought I had copied it, but I thought I would just check, and I didn't see it, so I'm gonna do it now. But everything we need for our work meeting next week is in that folder. And I encourage everyone to reread those. And those items will be, the unplugged, big item, the grading ordinance, and then touching base again on the sensitive land ordinance. Let me just make sure I have it right. Did I miss anything, Crystal? I don't think I did. So we need grading ordinance. Yeah, and I'll go back when I get home and number them so that everything about the CUP has one number. So they're all together, and everything that for the sensitive lands has another number, and everything for the grading ordinance has another number, so it's just easier for us to find those things, okay? All right, we have no other items on our agenda, this is like the first. Do you see the big smile on Christine's face? So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
I need a clarification before we vote, if we could.
Sure.
Will we not having a public hearing this month?
We already have it.
Well,
We already went through it. This meeting started at 5:30.
yes, I understand that. I don't know, is that conditional use permit on?
Yes. Let's continue.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Those contained from last one.
Yes, back in the open space and the grading permit. Okay?
Good.
All right, and we'll be discussing all three, so, and Riker will attend for the grading orders to clarify anything. And someone will be here to answer our questions about unplugged driving have as well. Okay, all right. Anything else? Okay, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 This meeting is adjourned. Have a nice early evening. Yeah.
What's the status?
Hold on.